LLC, Pest Geek Podcast, Living the Wildlife Podcast, Stephen M. Vantassel, or their or his affiliates are not responsible for followers' use of the information provided here. Hi, everyone. Stephen Vantassel here, wildlife control consultant, bringing you another episode of Living the Wildlife as part of the Pest Geek Podcast family. Really glad to have you on board. Do take a few moments, if you would, to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you can be notified of updates. Also, join us on Facebook for our community there at the Pest Geek Podcast community. We'd love to hear you. It's a place where you can shout out your triumphs and your trials and your troubles, and even ask questions if you have that as well. Also, you can reach me at wildlifecontrolconsultant@gmail.com, wildlifecontrolconsultant@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your comments about the show, suggestions for new shows, and yes, even criticisms if you happen to think of one. We'll take that as well. But again, wildlifecontrolconsultant@gmail.com. We are really pleased today to have a guest, and his name is Lance Griggs. He is the founder and owner of Spectrum-3d, and his website is spectrumx1.com. That's Spectrum X, the letter X, the numeral 1.com. And he has some interesting materials for us to talk about. So, Mr. Griggs, welcome to the show. We're really glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about what your, I guess, invention is, for lack of a better word. Have at it.
Stephen, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. Of course, we are on the boards, the pest control boards with you guys, and we see your podcasts, and I really appreciate the opportunity. My name's Lance Griggs. As mentioned, I'm in Huntsville, Alabama. As you can probably tell from my accent, I've been in the pest control industry for 33 years, starting this month, 33 years in November. And it's been great. I've been a solo operator for the last half of those years. It is now me and my son. We have had as much as 3 to 4 techs at a time, but it's back to me and my son, and very blessed to have him on. We have just been operating here, like I said, many years. Growth, like all of you guys, I hope, have had the same in your part of the country. And I have seen over the years where there's definitely been some trends that I know you guys probably see as well. And one thing that I had seen trending the past 6 to 7 years was rodents. And when you hear a pest control guy say the word rodent, specifically, we mean rats and mice, although there's many things that are rodents that give us trouble.
Sure.
When you hear us pest control guys talk about a rodent, it's usually referring to rats and mice. I would get a call for years. We'd get a call for mice or rats, every couple of weeks or so. And now it is just almost constant and not slowing down. It's just several every week or two. You just get several rat or mice calls.
So your company, was it a general pest control company, or did you specialize in termites or something like that?
Correct.
Just general?
Yeah, we were general and termite.
Okay.
And here in North Alabama, in Huntsville, it's subterranean termites.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the Formosans up here yet.
Okay.
So this is subterranean termite territory. We get pretty good for 4 pretty good seasons. We get a decent winter time. Usually we let up a little bit around this time of year, but then March comes in like gangbusters. And talking about rodents, it was a fall winter thing. Now it's pretty much year round. We will be in the dead of summer, a hot Alabama summer, hot and dry, and we'll be getting mouse calls and rat calls. Yes, they do pick up historically in the fall and winter, but it's pretty steady here all year round. I don't know about the rest of the country, but it's definitely steady here year round.
Well, I had an incident when I did a training in Kansas. I had the technicians there telling me that they had the same situation that you're describing. It totally blew me away because I haven't lived in the South. And I guess the suspicion was, and I just want to run this by you, and were the rodents coming into the building to get cool or to get moisture?
We have a lot of development here in the Huntsville area.
Mm-hmm.
We are one of the fastest growing areas in the country. I believe that's no coincidence. We have subdivisions, retail buildings, industrial, a lot of big tech, a lot of government contractors for the Redstone Arsenal that's nearby. So I believe that does come into play here for our situation. what was cotton fields is now really nice neighborhoods.
So tell us about your product here. You have some bait stations in front of us that you've designed. Definitely delve into those. What are they called?
Thank you very much. This is
let's-
Spectrum X1.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Spectrum X1. It is an interior rodent station. Okay. We've used rodent stations for years, inside, outside. This is a product that I have been thinking about a long time. And January 1st of 2020 is when the idea really birthed into what you see here now, with a few changes over the development process. What I've learned, and what you probably have learned with pest control, is there's always more than one way to do something. And so a lot of guys are just, no, man, we don't bait on the inside. We do not bait on the inside, period, end of story. It's almost really, Stephen, become a Ford versus Chevy, Democrat versus Republican thing. You either bait inside or you don't.
Yeah.
Now, look, we trap inside. We do a lot of trapping, like most people. Trapping is effective, but there are times where I want all the tools on my truck. I want all the tools in my tech's hand, and so we do bait on the inside. And those people you talk to, the technicians and the pest control guys you talk to who do bait on the inside, will tell you it's pretty good. Now, you do have issues with baiting and or trapping. There's pros and cons, but we're big on baiting on the inside. Again, it's not my go-to at first. We like to trap, but again, they're trending so hard here. Mice and rats, specifically house mice, that we do bait on the inside when it's called for. So Spectrum X1 is my first product, and we're really excited about it.
Well, talk about it, because you have some. I see some with a white cover and some with a brown base, and
so we
that out a little bit.
We have used the products that you've all used for years. That everything's black, and nothing wrong with black. But I'm married to a designer. Actually, my wife's a designer and a builder, and the feminine touch, feminine side rubbed off on me, and I've always it's just always killed me to put just a big old black ugly rat box in and around people's homes.
Yeah.
Especially like a lot of your companies, I'm sure you guys do some really nice homes. We service some really nice office environments here. So gray is just our base color. Spectrum X1's the base color is gray. We have also a black that I don't have with me that are limited right now in production. But we have white, a lot of tile areas, a lot of areas are white. And we have brown. Brown is just one of those for wood floors. For the terracotta tile that is in most commercial kitchens, this thing just goes away. And that's what we want. We want color choices for the technician to not only just look good aesthetically and really just separate you from your competition, but it reduces complaints. Customers have loved them. And but it also does one other thing. It mutes. It's what we call mute. It mutes in the environment that it's in. Muting is a design term, and it just basically means it just goes away. It kind of cloaks itself. It doesn't stick out. Let's just say, like your big black ugly rat box, as the public calls them. And so that was the idea with colors, and you can mix and match. We've got I've got a really nice office here that I service. There's a ton of browns and grays in the new office environments. Oh man, they just look so good. And a lot of the tile areas that are in some of the bathrooms on my launch video that is on my website, spectrumx1.com, and my YouTube channel, Spectrum-3d. You can see where I had some white subway tile and a gray tile floor in an extremely nice office that we were servicing that had mice just running like they owned the place. And the manager was just really, really pleased and really happy with just that little touch. But that's just one of my main functions, is the color choices for the technician. Again, it's about muting itself in the environment, but it's also about keeping the customer happy. One idea too with the color choices is it draws less attention to itself. When you've got a gray area, gray tile, all the gray cubicles or gray walls, if you can get that rodent station over there in the corner or along the wall to not just stand out, that lessens any particular interest in it. It lessens we don't want human interaction, okay? We don't want anybody going over and messing with it. So that's one good plus about the color choices that we have.
So hold the other black one up because yours
Sure.
is a lot taller
Yeah.
than the other bait station. So what was your rationale about that taller design? 'Cause it's almost
Yeah.
2.5 times as
Yeah.
tall. Is that about right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So the thank you for asking. My number one, and I've used thousands of these in my 33 years. Okay, they're great products. Okay,
Yeah. I mean,
I just would have forever. I have wanted something just a little bigger, just something that we were noticing. Let me see if I can show you one. We were noticing, I guess, if you guys can see that.
yep, it's looking
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So of course that's cribbing. Okay, that's called chew through or chew out. Okay,
Hmm.
we call it chew through here.
Yeah.
So now rodents chew. Okay, so that's
Sure.
normal.
Yeah.
But what we were noticing was, especially females, a gravid female who was too large to get into her. She had too large abdominal girth around day 17, 18 of gestation to get in there and eat the bait. But you can see now this thing has been chewed to death.
And that
Okay.
chewing is by mice and not rats there.
Correct. Yeah, this
Okay.
was mice. Okay,
Okay.
we believe it was mice. It's
Yeah.
definitely little. You can see the little
Gotcha.
saw marks there, and so we were noticing that. We were noticing my technicians would come up and say, "Man, we got some fat mice, some big mice, and yeah, they'll vary in sizes, but it was gravid females. It was some
No kidding.
I believe it was gravid females.
Yeah.
Now again, mice chew. Okay, they do
Sure.
chew,
Oh, absolutely. Right.
but I wanted something bigger for that reason alone, just for multiple mice, bigger animals with a rat as well. It's big enough to hold to let a rat in there to chew. Okay,
Hmm.
the rat has too long of a body for its whole body to get in there, but it can get its scapula in there,
Hmm.
its shoulder blade. It can squeeze in there, and it can eat that bait. So not only does it take care of mice, but it also will take care of rats. Um, the other idea was these things are great, Stephen, but they only hold one block of bait.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is I'm told, one of the best selling products by my distributor. Okay, this of
Yeah.
all,
No,
just
it's
in
a
history.
classic without a doubt.
Everybody exactly.
Right.
So and then this was the brother that came along after, and I've used thousands of these over the years.
Yeah.
Great company, and so you can see there, you can
There's
see
two.
that the
One and
two.
two.
And
Yeah.
so what I wanted was mostly, you can see the difference. You can
4
see the
versus
tunnel.
1.
Yeah, I wanted 4 versus 1. Now, for most pest control products, the two popular rodenticides, 2 blocks is max for mouse infestation for one placement. Okay.
Right.
But there are some some sachets, some soft packs that are multiple packs that you can do for mice.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get them in these.
Right.
You can get them in these. And again, this is also for rats too. But one thing I do want to point out is not only the tunnel that's much bigger, okay, but the eating area that holds more bait.
Mm-hmm.
It was very important after I did a lot of research and studying. I wanted to make sure that I was right about a few things. So I did some studying, just Google like anybody else, some studies from some of the big agriculture schools. A couple of them were from Harvard, okay. And just really fascinating. And they talk about feeding frenzies. There is such a thing called a feeding frenzy, a rodent frenzy. And the more mice you can get simultaneously in a station to eat, the more action you'll get. And the more action you'll get, the more effective that station will be. And so not only was it great for mice, large mice, gravid females especially, who were having trouble getting in these little things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you could get several. You could get, I'm not going to count, you can get multiple mice feeding an X1 compared to the stations that I've been using for years, and everybody has. So that was important because you get that feeding frenzy going on. You get a party going on in the station, and that's effective. That's just end of story.
Yeah.
They're gonna poop all in it. They're gonna be tearing up that bait. There will be all that sebum just rubbed around everywhere, and it'll just let off a good waft of just all that scent. And they'll pick it up on, others will pick it up on that scent trail, and they'll go in there and have a party. So we have been loving that aspect of it. We've been using it on some heavy infestations here, and just loving the fact that it's getting a lot of attention because of the amount of room that you have in a station. But again, what's cool about it, it's not that much bigger than current stations. Now, what really prompted me, another thing that prompted me, was there wasn't a lot of choice on the marketplace from, let me just set this here. There wasn't a lot of choice, Stephen, from here to here, okay?
Yeah, right.
This was the, I'm not going to mention the name, but everybody knows this one. It's been around forever. Great station.
Yep.
That was the choice.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to set that in the ladies' kitchen. I didn't want to set that in an environment. So that was why, another reason why I invented the X1 was specifically because I didn't have a good intermediate size station.
Right. So you go either from tiny to not quite so tiny to now you have a medium size station versus the full size rat station. Now you have that in between zone.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued by a couple of things when I watched your video before our interview, in which was you don't use a key to open your station. So talk about what the hand movement is there, which is kind of neat because, I'm with you. I got the collection. Your collection beats mine by far. I think I only have, because I collect the keys. I'm not in the field doing pest control work, but I collect them. I think I've got 6, if memory serves. I think you had me beat the one I saw in the video. So talk about how that mechanism is and how you open it.
Yeah, so I wanted a keyless design. Okay, now I don't put bait around anywhere where children or pets are going to be an issue. Period. End of story. Okay,
right.
So it's not an issue for me. Okay, the 2 close calls in my 33 years that I've had with any kind of problem with rodenticide with a child or pet were with supposed tamper resistant stations. Okay,
right. Yeah.
We've all come, all of us who have large routes. We've showed up to a station and it's inexplicably open. How it got open, we don't know, or it's been kicked out and there's stuff. So we don't put bait around children and pets. Okay, it's not hard to not put bait around children and pets. Okay, so all of my X1s are non-tamper resistant. There will be an upgrade coming along later that I'm hoping, I'm not finished designing yet, but it'll be an upgrade or an update to the existing station that will make them tamper resistant, for that tamper resistant label. But it wasn't an issue for me. Okay, so the keys were just killing me. I've got large industrial buildings and high bay areas that I service that I've got hundreds of stations in and around outside, and the keys were just killing my hands. I'd lose them. I'd leave them in my truck. So I wanted something that had a motion to it, that was a keyless design that would lock, hair fingers quote, and be easy to get into. So you're just using the pyramid shape for the process of opening it. So what you're going to do is you just hold the base part down, and you're going to push down that way with the base while you lift up with the lid. And as you lift up the lid, you just twist it back. Real fast motion, like that right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That's nice.
We're very happy with it. We're extremely happy with it. To put it back on, you just snap it in. It's not going anywhere. The bait is secure. And again, we just ask people to follow the label just like we all should.
Sure.
We carry the label further. We do not put bait around children and pets in indoor situations. Okay. Outside, different story, different philosophy on that.
Right.
But one thing too is I would lastly touch on with the feature that is really exciting for me with our station. And it was kind of you've heard the feature. It's a feature, or it was a bug, not a feature.
Right.
Yeah. So we're big on monitors here, like a lot of pest control guys. And I say monitors, sticky boards, glue boards.
Yep.
And so one thing cool about X1 is you can put a full size glue board in there.
Okay.
And catch everything under the sun as far as arachnids. Unfortunately, lizards, which are beneficial, but spiders, beetles, crickets, and yes, mice. Been very happy with this. This was an idea from my brother-in-law, not a pest control guy. He said, "Man, you ought to be able to put a glue board in that thing." And I thought he didn't know what he's talking about at the time. I thought, So sure enough, we figured out a way to do that. And what's cool about it is we call it monitor mode. Yep. So monitor mode is basically if you turn the station upside down. I don't know if you can see, but it's good and flat. See, this is very good and flat. That glue board is right on the floor. Okay. And what's cool about that is this is great for those environments where there is some moisture, maybe some mopping going on by the janitorial. And when we stick a glue board out, like we all do, folding up a glue board, sticking it out, we come back and they're mangled up and mashed, and they're possibly have gotten wet. Well, this is just a great, discreet way of hiding in a corner a monitor for a building or home. Now, what's cool, of all the ones I've got in Huntsville, all of my X1s that I have been R&Ding and trying out over the years, 3D printed hundreds of them before we went in with injection mold process. 90% of them, I'd say 85% of them are in monitor mode most of the time. Monitor mode has really surprised me. So when we start getting some issues, then we will put the bait back in for a couple of 3 weeks or so until the war is over. Once the war is over, we put a placebo in, like No Tox or what's the one? It was D-Tex. Those are great products. I'm not affiliated with any of those guys, but it's great products. So we'll either do that or monitor mode. So we're big on that. And that is what is great about X1. You can load it up with that stuff. Got a lot of bait sitting in there and a lot of attractant. And so what is interesting.
So before you go any further, let me just sort of highlight something for the viewers. So for viewers who are not familiar, D-Tex and No Tox there's no rodenticide in the bait block, but they are used so you don't have to have a quote unquote pesticide license to use it because there's no rodenticide. It's just a wax extruded bait that's attractive to rodents, and you can use that as a way of monitoring rodent activity. And so then if there is some, then you can swap out the no toxicant version with the toxicant version. So that's all.
Correct.
And I think there's a tremendous need for that because we really need to do more. And I wanted you to talk about two things. With your larger station, because of the push to go to more first generation anticoagulants, and so first gens, as you know, requires multiple feedings. Do you think that your bait station allows people to use, because you're always afraid of running out, because if you run out, that last mouse might not have had that second or third dose they need to get that toxic dose. Now they have 4 options, so that if you're not getting there quick enough, you're likely to still give a toxic dose. Do you think that helps?
Yeah, it's ideal for specifically what you're inadvertently talking about is quarterly accounts.
Okay.
Everybody's moving quarterly now with residential. Okay. Commercial and industrial and retail, it's still monthly. You have to go monthly. You can't service a restaurant quarterly, in my opinion.
Right.
So for residential, though, everybody. In fact, one of the largest companies in the world is here in Huntsville now, and they are doing the 3 times a year thing. I can't remember what they call it. They've got a little marketing term for it.
Wow.
3 times a year.
3 times a year. Wow, that's pretty.
So quarterly, in my opinion, is stretching it. But you're exactly right. So you've got tons of bait sitting there waiting. I would notice that. I would notice with our small stations that they would get wiped out, nothing left.
Right.
And so that's the beauty of a more option. The label's not the label. I wish there would be a label update as far as 4. I wish they would specifically say 4 quarterly. Here's what you would put in there.
Yeah, they like that vague language. They like that vague language because, we could talk about a situation where we got burned here in Montana. So. But that's another show.
And speaking of that, California's AB 1788, the big, a lot of buzz behind that. So we're big on placebos. I'm actually developing a program. I would love to talk about it at a future update. We've been doing it a lot over the years, but I wanted to put something more concrete for using placebo products. I'll tell you, Stephen, and you maybe know more about this than I do. The EPA is currently looking at. We're expecting any week now updated language as far as the labels. So and the rumor, total anecdotal, what we've been hearing, the rumor, the buzz is that they will be. It'll be strict as far as leaving rodenticides out 24/7. I've said that all along. We've been using a sledgehammer when we could have been using a scalpel. So I definitely want to talk to you more further about that. I've got some news coming down the pike, and I'm just finishing it up, working on it. But so these will take any glue board. You just fold up into a square.
Okay.
The hack. It's a little hack. I hate that word, but there's a little hack on my website. It's a video.
Yeah.
So normally our famous glue boards that we all use from the manufacturers fold up into a little bit more of a rectangle. Neat little hack that goes right in there. folds
Yeah,
up.
show
You can do
the
it.
viewers how it gets in there. So just open
Yeah,
that up and show
absolutely.
them how it goes right in
Yeah.
there.
So
So that would be that
on my
monitor
website,
mode.
yep,
Yep.
this is your glue board,
Yep.
and it folds up into more of a square.
Mm-hmm.
You don't use the perforation. You use a couple of the perforations, but the video explanation I have just a couple of areas where you just go beside the perforation to fold it up.
Mm-hmm.
You put it in with the artwork like that right there.
Yep.
Okay.
Pop it right in there. Nice.
And you pop it in, and it's really surprised me. I've actually loved it more than I thought I would. Turn your station upside down with no bait, and now you've got a monitor. And what you can do is you can put that along the wall. Yep. Okay. We call that the runway, of course, in the industry. Yep. Most of the time, it's not all the time. I saw Bobby Corrigan talking about how a lot of times they'll run right out in the middle of the room, but most of the time, there's a long scientific word that long for it. They like to run along walls.
Thigmotactics,
Thigmotrophic. It's thigmotrophic.
Yeah, they love to touch something.
Yeah, so they will run along walls. So you put that in the middle of the runway. What is interesting, and I haven't uploaded my video yet to my YouTube channel. So far this winter here, I've caught 2 in the corners. I've put it in monitor mode in a corner. Now, we've always heard where you put traps and bait in corners when they're doing 0 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. You put a glue board or a device like that, a catch device like that in the middle of the wall when they're doing 90 miles an hour to catch them. So the 2 I've caught so far this year, I've got a video of them. These were in the corners. And what I have learned is when they see a tunnel, even if it's in the corner, they'll dart in that tunnel. They'll dart into it. They'll speed up. Yes. The guy, Sean Woods, everybody's heard of him on YouTube, who does wonderful mousetrap gizmo.
Oh, the Mousetrap Monday
guy?
He's
great. Oh,
okay.
He's wonderful.
Yeah, he's a fascinating guy. I tried to get him on the show. I couldn't.
Oh, really?
He wouldn't respond to my emails.
He's big time. Well, you'll see in some of his videos, they will dart into the corner. So our theories were kind of off a little bit. The 2 that I have caught were in corners. And again, you're like, no, man, you don't want to do that. They're doing 0 miles an hour in a corner. No, when they see a tunnel, they'll dart into it and boom.
It's amazing. So I think there's one more thing I want you to, and there may be more. One thing you have a white, if you could put one together with a white top and that brown base, because behind you have a brown, I think it's a brown wall. It looks brown to me with the white, edging that you have there, and just kind of lay it up against there so that people can see that muting effect that you were talking about. And because I do think for those people who have, higher end clients who are probably embarrassed to death that they have mice in their house, this is a way to reduce that visual there. So notice we have that. I'd probably want to flip that right over so it's brown on the bottom and white at the top. I mean, that's quite a, folks, the little things matter, and your clients appreciate that. Especially when no one else has even talked about it. This could be a way to differentiate your company from someone else. Yeah, there you go. It's just, that'll definitely, you may think, well, I can still see it. No, people don't observe. We're all paying too much attention to our cell phones.
Yeah, that's true. And it's funny. I've been hard on black. I've been hard on the black industrial thing that we've used here, what the public calls the black ugly rat box. I've been hard on them. Black does go away in some shrubs and bushes on the outside, no doubt about it. It goes away in the shadows.
Yeah,
we have a black station. We have a black X1. Our base color is going to be the gray, because gray is the best. It's a great neutral color. Gray just goes. If I'm gonna go anywhere, it's going to be with my gray. But yeah, I've got several. I've got in my video, you'll see one of my videos. I've got a lab facility in Huntsville, and I've got it's all white everything. White. Wow. The guys are in white suits. I've got 100 of these things, nearly 100, and they just go away. They're left alone. Nobody messes with them. Nobody sees them but me. At least pays attention to them.
Yeah,
but me. They don't stick out like a sore thumb. So with each X1 comes our own custom glue board. Okay, you get a sheet. They come in sheets of 3, but our starter kit is this is our starter kit boxes. So you have four comes in a starter kit. You have 2 of our base color, which is gray, and you have a white, and you have the brown. And so of course it'll have the instructions, which is very simple. Once you've done a few of them, it's not much of a learning curve. White, brown, and the gray. with a sheet of our custom glue inserts. Sorry, get my microphone there.
Sure.
And so our glue inserts are awesome. Made, I think, by the way, my product's made right here in Huntsville, Alabama. These are made in the USA. These glue boards are made right here in the USA. And so what you'll do is very simple. If you want to go into monitor mode, there is a little, really just a little glue dot. Mm-hmm. Very effective. You'll peel that off. You'll place it onto the roof of the X1. Then you'll peel that film. You'll peel that film. And then, of course, you will. I should have just went ahead and did it. But it'll just be perfect.
No, don't ruin it.
It's awesome. And it's great. I wanted to, even if somebody didn't want to continue to buy sheets of these, they're $1.09 a sheet. You can, like I said, any sticky board, any glue board, even the Gluey Louie's, which is a smaller glue board that we've all been accustomed to and used for years. I'm not affiliated, just a fan.
Sure.
But there you can see that is a great full-size glue board, and it will catch. It will catch. Never have caught a rat with it. I've not tried that with a rat. I believe a rat wouldn't just get stuck. But just this winter, we got two decent sized little mice, little field mice.
So with your base kit, so now you have two full grays, two full whites, and one full white, one full brown. So then you're able to mix and match those colors if you needed to. So it gives you that option, plus with the associated glue boards that you have with it as well.
Yeah, this is our starter kit. It's two grays, a white, and a brown. Okay. Yes, you can mix and match. We encourage it. Mix and match. And they're $32.89. It's $32.89 for our starter kit. $32.89. What's been blown me away is I thought I would move a lot of starter kits, but a lot of people have went just straight for our case of 12. It's $96 for a case of 12. And I actually had to update on our website, our store, our Shopify store, a Pro case. Pro case is $24, and it's a $192. That's $192 total for the Pro case. And I've been very tickled, very pleased with that. I just thought everybody just want to try some starter kits out. They're wonderful. But I've had several people go, hey, man, I want the Pro case, or I want the case. So
no rods to play with. Yours are built in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I wanted to show you guys. So there's your rods. Yep. They're made onto plastic injection mold. Oh, man, you don't have enough time for me to talk to you about the plastic injection mold development. It's really what they all claim it to be. It's a long process, and I learned a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to show you these. This is so every X1 is made with what they call PP, polypropylene. It's high strength. I'm going to take one of my rods here, the what I call the bait spear, and I'm going to bend it. I'm going to bend it all the way down. I'm going to try to break it. I don't know if you can see that. Okay.
Oh, I thought it'd be rigid.
Not.
Okay.
No, man. Look at that.
Interesting.
It'll bend right back up. Just bend it right back up. Hey, I'll tell you what. I will go. I'm going to try to just do one back and forth. You're not going to break them. If you break it, I'll replace it.
I thought they would be rigid. Yeah. Okay, that's neat. That wasn't in your video.
Yeah. So yeah, I need to update that. Yeah, I need to. Still, my website. I'm still going to add a couple more pictures.
But there's always something more to video. All right.
But yeah, these guys have been in my van earlier today. We got down to 20-something last night, and I got out there and just messed with them. Not had any issues at all with our bait spears, and they're really tough stations.
So I'm going to ask a jerk question. Have you ever stood on one to see if it breaks under your weight?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my first thing. My son, who is a larger version of me, more muscular and heavy. Yeah. We put it through the abuse. That was one of our big questions as far as the material that we would use for the plastic injection mold process. Our 3D printed ones, we had several hundred when we were developing that were 3D printed. 3D printing is great, but it's just you're not going to compete with plastic injection mold, ABS products, polypropylene, even PE. So I've been very pleased with that so far.
Are people able to, I know there's a trend in the industry to sort of sort of internal labels, so people are able to get, because you have an your X1 design. Is that X1 or XD on the cover, on the top?
Yeah, so X1.
X1.
And I've got it upside down on this mode for when you're in monitor mode. Mm-hmm. It'll be facing out. Okay, so when you're in monitor mode, there's the wall. It'll be facing out unless you put it in the corner. Yeah. But most of the time, depending on the situation, we'll put them in that runway. Um, but yeah, no.
Are people able to have a different design on that if they
Yeah,
wish? If they wish to pay, what is that? What additional cost does that
you
bring
know,
to the case?
it's a very good question. My guy here locally in Huntsville said he could do it, and it would have to be a huge order. It's a pretty big deal. I'm not a
Yeah,
look. I'm just I'm a pest control guy. I'm
sure,
not a
sure.
product guy, and this is my first product. The big guys can, of course, you get a $20,000 pallet, maybe I don't know, $20,000 pallet. I've heard you
Okay,
can get your name put on them.
all right.
But what I had one guy who. And in fact, people have been asking me, "Hey, man, what about labels? What about the stickers? You know, in my state, we got to have the stickers and stuff."
Mm-hmm.
Most everybody makes their own stickers. They have
Okay.
their own.
Yep.
So I don't offer a sticker. I thought about offering a PDF on my website that you could download, saying, you know, having the month that you check off and what is in it.
Mm-hmm.
But most everybody I've talked to who've
Has
ordered,
their own stickers.
they don't mean, yeah, we got our own stickers, got our logo on it, got our poison control center on it, got our name and what the product. So, and they'll just stick them right on top of there.
On the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's got their name and logo on it
Well,
anyway.
I
So,
guess they could put it on the inside as well if they
yeah,
wanted to
could.
keep it
You sure
away from
could.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got room. And yeah, there's.
So if someone wanted to I guess they would have to buy a pallet, and then that would be they could
Yeah.
have that grooved in, press molded
Yeah,
idea as well.
correct. Yeah,
There may be people.
that's a separate. It's a separate little thing here that they could do it under. They would
Okay.
change that right there. You can see that stamp.
Yeah.
They would. It's a core. They call it a core, and they
Mhm.
would pull that core, my core, out and
And
put
a
the new
one
core
in.
of XYZ pest control on it or whatever.
Sure.
But like I said, I've been. One guy had a really good looking sticker. He just did a sticker on there.
The sticker on. Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of a lenticular look to it. I'm like, where'd you get those, man? It's all my local printer here, and I'm like, pretty cool.
Excellent. Well, is there anything that we haven't discussed about your product that we need to mention that we haven't mentioned already?
Yeah, no, I think I've pretty much covered the short, long and short of it.
All right, so
I
let's
just tell
go.
everybody, Stephen, just to follow the law. Follow each
Sure.
state. States vary.
Mhm.
Okay, so know your state law, of course. Your
Yeah.
state ag department. Yeah.
So we're dealing with a bait station that's used inside of a structure, not outdoor. It's not an outdoor bait station, so that's important to know. It has some different color options, so you can mute the color. It has a larger bait station area for those situations where you can use it. It has some rat capability to it, and it can hold a glue board as well for your monitoring mode. So you have a lot of different options with this particular trap. Plus, it's keyless entry. And then you said you're coming out with another model down in the summer. Do you have an idea when that might come to the fore?
Yeah, I'm still working, still tweaking, and it'll be so. A couple of developments. There will be a tamper resistant option for these. It won't be anything different about the station. It'll be a proprietary item that makes them tamper resistant. Okay. Now that's in the works, so don't put that in concrete.
Right.
We're happy though. We're happy with what we got. Again, it's easy for me. I carry that label a step further, and we just don't do children or pets.
Right.
And it's not hard to just be careful where we put rodenticides. And again, people look at me like I've got antenna when I tell them when I ask them about after the war is over, you are pulling that bait, aren't you? Because it's a monitoring system at that point.
Yeah,
it's a monitoring operation. I hope you're monitoring.
I wish more people were pulling the bait, and I've been a little critical. I mean, in fairness, sometimes the industry needs to be a little critical of itself, and that is it's like we bash California, and there's a lot to bash about California. I'll throw California under the bus. But we do need to acknowledge that sometimes some of these non-target exposures are due to our practices. And we need to own it. And we need to own it.
We look, California, everybody is going to say the same thing you're about to say. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have the Home Depot, Lowe's, not affiliated with them. I go there every weekend. They'll go load their station wagon up with bait or Tractor Supply, get a bucket of bait. Much of it's the same stuff we get, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, Stephen, they get on Amazon. They get on Amazon and buy these keys all day long.
Oh, yeah.
eBay. And they can buy everything we get, and they can throw it in their barn, throw it around their house. We've seen it. All of us have seen it.
Sure.
So yes, they're to blame too.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to head it off. I think it's coming with this ruling from the EPA. I pray it's not a California law
Yeah.
nationwide, but I believe we're going to see some of that, especially outside stations with our raptors that are ending up with their bellies, the owls, birds, cats. I don't know, man. They're ending up with it, and so I think if we will just, it's not for everybody, but once the war is over with, pull it out, put placebo, at least one station or two in the critical shady area that's around the dumpster. Okay, then keep bait there. Keep bait.
Sure. Yeah.
But anyway, I got something to say about that in the future. I'm definitely working on a neat little set of guidelines that I'm working on for outside and inside. And we're also developing an outside station. Now that's a different beast because it does have to be definitely EPA approved with the tamper-resistant label when you put bait on the outside. But I'm really excited about that. It's a long way off.
Good.
But between now and then, I've got a couple of products that I'll talk to you further about too one day.
Well, one of the things that I did a blog on this, and I'm just throwing it out to you. I've been begging bait station manufacturers like yourself, and so you're here, and so I'm going to beg you, is that we need a bait station that has the ability to have a mouse door, rat door, and I've been recommending either having a sliding function or perhaps another person suggested a little attachment so you have a rat-sized door and then you just slap another opening so it shrinks it down. Because the reality is squirrels are going into those rat size. Obviously, if you're dealing with rats, you need to have a rat-sized door. But everyone knows that that's a minority of cases.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we're dealing with mice outside, mouse-sized animals outside. So why don't we have an easy way to get that door size down for mice?
You think that would be a great idea? At least maybe an
attachment.
We'll go ahead and brainstorm. Just something, even a 3D printer. I've got 3D printers. We were originally going to do a 3D printer farm. It was just not, it just wasn't going to happen.
Wasn't going to happen.
You could, we still do all our development with 3D printer. I got stuff.
I'd love to see a sliding door, rat size, mouse size, or an attachment. You could just simply pop it on when you're dealing with mice.
Look at my tunnel. It's almost as big as an outdoor station's tunnel. And but that's a great idea. And
I would love to see that. I think that's a
great idea.
And then obviously people are sometimes using second gens when they don't need to. Using first gens. However, anything we could do to just have that mechanical barrier. I just wish the industry, I've had some manufacturers say, it's a great idea, but it's a whole retooling. You're at the beginning of this process. Maybe you could jump the industry and get that out there.
You got my gears to turning.
We need to make it convenient so that the technician doesn't have to be carrying more equipment. That people like the idea of those larger bait stations are more durable, they're more resistant to dogs. And then just a sliding door. Now it's for mice.
They're ABS. Most of our outside stations are ABS, tough as nails.
Just make a simple way to shrink that door down without carrying another piece.
It's doable. I think it's doable. The only problem I see, you'd have to have one for each station. Now, granted, there's a couple of big brands that we all love that a lot of us use, so they could at least be made for that one that's selling. That everybody uses, okay, and I think we'll all know it's got the concrete in it, and there's one that's got the concrete below. Somebody could do it, man. You got the gears to turning, man.
Well, I hope so, because I do think that would be a simple way of reducing exposure down the road. And I think we need to, and I think we sometimes try to, the EPA it's a sledgehammer.
It is.
And sometimes we just need and that's because they're trying to control our behavior, and the way they do that is make our life harder for the legal guys, and we need to take responsibility for that. And I know people are trying to make money and cost pressure, but Europe is looking at some major restrictions, and everything floats over the pond. Then it goes to California, and then it infects everyone else.
You're exactly right. They're 10 years ahead of us. I say ahead of us on the government, on the trends, the regulation trends. Like them or love them. And I could see that, man. I really do think that we might have a different looking industry in the next few years. I hope if and when this ruling comes down,
Mhm.
that it surely they're going to look at the moms and dads that just walk into Home Depot and get a
Oh,
ton of stuff,
the
or
rumor I
Tractor
heard,
Supply or Amazon.
the rumor I
That
heard
you
was
got
they
to
were going to
address
make
that.
all second gens restricted use, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
pretty for a state like ours in Montana. That's going to be pretty
yeah,
severe.
yeah,
But I've heard that even those of you on the East Coast, I used to live in
yeah.
the East Coast, that it's going
Mhm.
to be hard because now it's going to require people, they can't use operators that will work under
Yeah,
someone else's license, that
yeah,
it would really put a big hurt on people with labor costs.
yeah,
And we don't know what they're going to come up, but it might be severe. It
yeah.
could very well be, and so this is going to be something. But I'm excited. I think you're. I hope that people are excited about this product. Again,
Thank
it's
you.
another option, and I think we want to encourage more tools, more options,
Yeah,
more aesthetics. I think that'll be
yeah,
important, and I think those of you with your wealthier clients who are really aesthetically based, and your artistic clients, they will really appreciate your attempt to mute that device.
I
and
appreciate
you
it.
know and I'm glad that you came on the show and gave
Yeah,
people some other options. So
yeah,
any
man.
final
That's
any
it.
final words before we close? Tell us your website again, how to
Yeah,
get in touch with you.
yeah. You can go to spectrumx1.com. That's spectrumx1.com. Still tweaking on a couple of pictures.
Okay.
My splash page video, it's taking a little long to load up. It's too long of a video. I'm gonna shorten it a little bit. But it'll pull up. Everything pulls up great. It's
Be
fairly
patient.
intuitive. Yeah, yeah.
Be
We
patient
have
when you're
a
getting on there.
YouTube
Yep.
channel that has all of my videos. Spectrum X1. Just do a search on YouTube for Spectrum X1 Rodent Station. All the keywords. You'll
Okay.
pull it up, and you'll see Spectrum-3d. But yeah, they're great. Garage floors, shop floors on that concrete. They just go away. Nobody's going to be as likely to mess with them. Again, you'll not have that interaction with the public
Yep.
that you normally would
Out of
with
sight, out of
another
mind.
product. Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
key. Yep.
Muting.
Hide it if you can hide it. That makes
Yeah,
it, yeah, people aren't as observant as we think they are at times, and
yeah,
so anything you
yeah,
can do. Well, we're really
yeah.
glad to have you on board. Let me tell everyone to give your name again. So Lance Griggs, he is the founder and owner of Spectrum-3d, and you can visit his website, as he said before. We'll give it again at spectrumx1.com. That's Spectrum, Spectrum, the letter X, one, the numeral one, so spectrumx1.com, and you can also see some of his materials on YouTube. Just do a little search for him at Spectrum-3d or Spectrum X1. You're gonna get his stuff. It should be pretty easy for you to get, Spectrum X1 rodent station, something like that. That will certainly bring it up, or just go to his website and you'll have the links there to his videos. So again, well, thank you so much for coming out to us. And again, I want to encourage people, visit. I'm not making any money off this video. He hasn't paid me anything. I don't even have any product. He didn't even give me any swag. So there's no conflict of interest here. I'm just fascinated. I am always excited for new products to the industry, because vertebrate pest control is a niche field, trophic levels, folks. If people have a decision between dealing with bugs, there's always going to be more bugs than there are mice. And so we want to encourage our manufacturers. He's all American made, if that's important to you, and I think it should be. We want to definitely encourage American labor and American quality there as well. So just a reminder for everyone, these are indoor bait stations. He doesn't use them in places where there are children or pets, but you could certainly put these in places where children wouldn't have access, like attics and crawl spaces and secured locations. That would be the case, but you can also use them in non-toxic mode for monitoring and for sticky traps that he places in them as well. So definitely check it out. Again, thank you so much for coming on to the show, and we're really glad to have you. So this is another episode of Living the Wildlife, everyone. We're really glad to have you on board. Do take a few moments, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and definitely join us on Facebook with our Pest Geek podcast family. We'd love to have you on board. If you have additional ideas for a show, or perhaps you want to be on the show yourself, you can reach out to me at wildlifecontrolconsultant@gmail.com. That's wildlifecontrolconsultant@gmail.com. And remember, everyone, this is Living the Wildlife. Why? Because we want you to live the wildlife. not be the wildlife. Take care, everyone.